Okay, so what I did was a few things. I went into the marketing group and I told them this is way that I'd like them to find their leader. So every person, there was three nominees. It was Aldo, Rizal, and Gani were nominated to be leadership candidates. So what I told them is that each person will be in rotation for 1 week as chapter lead, and during that time, they will also get leadership support from us, right, from me, on leadership coaching, things like management, things like execution, things like prioritization, vision alignment. And then at the end of the time, after the 3 weeks, then we will let them choose whoever they think is the best leader amongst the three candidates. So that's one application of leadership. The second thing I've noticed is that fundamentally on our leadership discussion, it's a little bit unstructured. So I'm going to try using this Trello board as just a new way to sort of see if we can get a bit more structure into how we lead leadership discussions. Okay, let's go ahead and begin. There's a few super topics, super initiatives that I thought I would put up at the top. First is progress, and this is just an update that we do regularly every week. The other is this idea of the super idea and progression, management, vision, finance, HR matters, and culture. These are top level leadership topics I think that I'd like to open the discussion with. All right, the very first thing we usually talk about is progress and update. So let's go over and see what everybody's progress is. Bayu, over to you, sir. Or no, actually, let's start with Ara. Ara, your thoughts, leadership or progress this week compared to last week?
Specifically, discovery in leadership.
No, this progress is just a form of discovery, right? It's a form of how we're going to figure out what we want to do.
Progress in the entire company.
Yeah, across the company. What do you see? Good progress, bad progress? What's your thoughts?
I would say good progress.
Okay, and why?
I have company outing with the people we have picnic actually, sir. The other day, last Saturday in Merapi with all the people in Jogja base.
Okay.
So I have discussion about how their feelings and how are their works and everything. I think people are pretty positive right now after all the feedbacks, and they maybe a little bit downfall from last month, but people are progressing, I think, for this.
Okay, good. And good feedback. All right, great. So how many people went? That was like, who was that?
Everyone. I able to gather everyone, yes. Except Nadine, yeah, because Nadine in Jakarta.
Okay, very good. Nice. Let's go next to Wayana then. Babe, what's your thoughts on progress this week versus last week? What just happened there?
This week and last week. This week and last week. I think it's some change from last week. Last week is a Diba and then now. But I think overall, based on like the scrum that I see, people like getting more confidence. Even if someone that is not like truly know, and people like what you call like confident to asking like guidance. It's like the culture is good actually, like feedback and asking. Basically, it's a what do you call apa ya? It's progressing, I think.
Okay, so culture is progressing. Yeah. Okay. All right. Over to Bayu. Your thoughts. Bayu. All right. Let's see. Bayu, you there? Okay. I'll give a little bit of my thoughts. Let's see. I think. Okay, I think we have good activity and morale. This part is progressing. Bayu did bring up something that sort of got me to think a little bit, which is, are we actually headed towards our goals? So there's been a few blind spots that I see, and perhaps these blind spots are maybe it's an aspect of reporting, or maybe it's an actual blind spot. I'll start naming them off. sort of guest experience. I'm not sure if we are taking care of our guests at all anymore. It could be that we are, but I just don't see it, right? So I don't know if there's any sort of progression on that part. Um, I don't really know how the overall community is doing, right? I know that we have some community that's doing really well. They're signing up for CSC, but we have hundreds of partners. So I'm not really certain. And this is coming from because we have a lack of engagement. Before we would have regular bookings going out, and so we would have de facto engagement with the community at whole. But now, since that's come down to very very low levels, I'm not sure if this is kind of progressing. Right. Um, I have noticed some slowdowns in certain areas. Um, in particular, like this, the more abstract areas are getting sort of slowed down. So things like hospitality standards or revenue forecasting, things that are not concrete, that don't have, like, let's say, a tangible progression every week. These are a little bit slowed down. Um, but otherwise, I would say I think yes, I see that we have fluency in operations, let's say. In research operations, we do seem to know what to do, but I don't know if we know why to do something yet entirely. Let's go over to Bayu. Okay, Bayu, over to you. Progress this week versus last week from your perspective.
From me, I think we are uh, trying to slow down and think better rather than I think before we just trying to figure out first by doing first. But yeah, especially from my end, I think we are trying to zoom out uh, and understand more what actually we need and yeah, probably take a more directed step.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Okay, so that's the update on the progress. So we have a better way of tracking this now that will sort of be in a timeline than before. Okay. Next is this idea. This is the super idea and the progression. This is more on execution now. So who are we selling to, and what are we selling? Let's go around for comments on this one. I guess Bayou can probably be more of an authority on what are we selling. What is the current state of the product, and what is the intention of the product at this point?
Which product you mean?
I guess our app, right? Our what is it that what do you, okay? Let's actually ask ourselves, what do you believe that we are selling now? What are people going to be paying for?
It's the management. So hospitality and then everything that manage the property.
Okay, all right. So let's go over to Ara. Ara, what do you think we're selling, or what will we be selling?
Okay, so I think for management service itself, it needs to be more detailed because like we need also concern on what makes us different than Oyo, let's say, or any other things, any other agents like us. So um, for what we're going to sell, what I heard is that we're going to like separate the like Gojek apps, but specifically for hospitality areas. So maybe like housekeepers or photographer for properties, things like that. So that's what I heard and I can think of so far.
Okay,
But yeah, for the current existing that we already have, I think we need to have specific difference than the other services.
okay. Let's go back to Bite. Bite. Your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I mean that basically what we are trying to sell is not not the shape of the company, but the but the value that the partner will get, right? So I think uh, if we are going to take it simple, then it's like we are selling the partner's time to manage their property. So that's whatever activities behind that we are doing, whether we are doing this kind of discussion or not. It's doesn't really matter or doesn't really affect the partners directly, but it will make an impact in how we deliver this the value into to our partner.
Okay. 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 Give me a second. Okay. All right. Let me also refine this a little bit. So after a discussion with Bayu, what I understand is that essentially will there be a partner facing app in your vision of how we move forward, Bayu?
If that help with what we deliver to partner, yes, probably. Just like the report app, for example. So if that, but basically that's not what we are selling. We're not. So far, I think there's no what do you call? There's no value that we can offer through an app, especially from our uh, partners persona right now. So we can safely say that our partners are lazy and don't want to manage it themselves. So if we give them a tool to manage themselves, so why did they not do it themselves?
Got it. Okay. All right. Is there any then, if we do create an app, will it help us do our services for the partner?
Yep, yep. Basically, we are focusing on uh, what do you call it? The app is how we make our operation more effective, basically.
Okay. Okay. What would this look like? Like
Mm,
in terms of how would you visualize, let's say, what this actually would look like in terms of a partner experience?
there's no difference in partner, basically. It's they will they will get the service that they already have, but faster, more accurate, and then maybe easier
Okay.
to get rather than asking through WhatsApp message every time they want something.
Okay. Okay. All right. Interesting. Okay. Thank you for that update. So, Ara, there's been sort of a refinement of this idea because we realized that a lot of the partners don't want to use apps. In fact, their idea of service is that they want to sit back and just sort of let us manage it. And so it's unlikely that they will use, let's say, an app to find a cleaner or anything else associated with that. So if we do create these tools, it's more for perhaps ourselves to use as a way of managing the end outcome. Okay, all right. Let's take a look at who are we selling to on this one. So this one has actually evolved quite a bit. So I'll give you guys an update on what I've seen in marketing. So we are experiencing lots of frictions. We're experiencing lots of frictions reaching a global audience. Okay. Um, Most of it is because of I don't know actually. Um, it's been difficult and to understand how to message and how to advertise to that. So we're not getting a lot of progress on actually getting response back for our advertising. A lot of it is based on I think we kind of don't have a specific focus that's gotten results yet. Okay, so let me show you where some of the things have failed. Right, so we tried Italian homeowners. Wait, let me put together a fail list. Right, this is kind of a fail list. So we've tried Italian homeowners, um, and that has not worked. we're currently trying, or let me put the progress list. Italian homeowners hasn't worked. French hasn't worked. Basically, all European. There's been not a lot of progress. Uh, where we have been getting some progress is in Thai developers, and where we actually get real progress are still local Balinese, uh, local Bali properties. Most of the progress that we've seen is still being done through the traditional means, right, babe? So we've been bringing in some deals through um, Bukit Vista 3 marketing techniques, but nothing from Bukit Vista 4 has actually produced any new results. So we don't know whether this is feasible yet based on the progress that we've been getting from the marketing team. Okay, so that's essentially the update on that. Bayu, any thoughts on that?
Hmm, I don't know if are we reaching the correct persona? I mean, the all the like non-management type owner, for example.
Are we reaching the correct persona? We don't know. We haven't reached anything actually. So from all of these campaigns that have been tried so far, there's been almost zero leads actually. The leads that we do have was through mostly through business development techniques rather than marketing techniques. We found them through LinkedIn, through professional networking, and after speaking with them, there is incompatibility issues. For example, we got Dean, who you spoke with. We got also Pem, who was a Thai property developer, and they were more concerned with getting investors than with getting people to operate. And I think the idea is still too exotic, actually. Probably that's my best diagnosis. The idea is still too exotic for a traditional property developer at the moment that we've spoken with. But we have not actually identified a persona yet.
Hmm, I don't know. So this is this is basically the problem of marketing, right? It's
Yes.
not the not it's not the what do you call it? It's not acquiring people yet. It's not acquiring user yet, but it's just how we broadcast message, right?
Yeah, yeah, you're right. So there's been a lot of activity and not a lot of results in marketing from what I could see. The the activity focus has been a little bit scattered. So Aldo is trying to essentially reach people through business development. Rizal is trying to reach people through Facebook, but and Diba's thinking about how to sort of build the landing page and create the correct branding. But the actual come together moment has not actually happened. And this is a little bit why I'm also concerned about independent leadership in particular marketing. Because I asked actually a few people today what it is that they are trying to achieve and what metric. And besides Rizal, nobody else gave the right answer. So there is still quite a lot of, I think, confusion in actually aligning that goal to achieve results. I think what they would need is perhaps more rigorous project management skills and being able to think clearly about what results actually mean. But the corresponding, I think, difficulty is maybe it's imagination. I'm thinking, right? The discovery process. What is it that they're actually supposed to imagine, and what is it that they're supposed to discover? Okay, let's go over to Ara real quick. Ara, we're kind of stuck on this idea of who we're selling to. The original idea is that we would sell internationally, we'd be able to go global with it, but we haven't come and gotten any traction yet. So, do you have any ideas?
From my side, my idea was actually since we're in Southeast Asia, right, sir? So the areas that sharing the, I would say not twins, but similar places, similar type of tourists is the Southeast Asia region. So instead of actually aiming for many places in the world, I would say, what if actually we focused on one region, which is in Southeast Asia? So then we start to dig in specifically whether it's Vietnam or something. And I think when we choose on which country first that we're trying to look, we need to a little bit pre-test or like research about which are the highest potential in Southeast Asia. Because to actually target, it's not something that okay. Based on my perspective, yeah, it is not effective if we're just like okay, let's go professional networking test to look up for around the world, like in Italy, who this person that owns a house that is going to be rented, what are they need. I think before that, we need to understand the geographically and then the tourist background and everything, like what are exactly the tourists, what are the motivation of tourists go to that city, that destinations, the characteristic of the tourist first, characteristic, then we understand the characteristic of the owners. So that's why I said that it needs to be focused on one location to be more specific. And I think it will be easier if it's in Southeast Asia because we're sharing a lot of similarities.
Okay, very good. I'll add a little bit to that. We have actually decided to limit the scope now to the immediate region, so that part has been done. The second thing we noticed is that it's not always a geographical locus; it's also a need locus. So we're not just focusing on this particular region, but we're focusing on a particular problem. So this was actually in deciding how to do the landing page. When originally we did the landing page, if we focused on different geographies, we realized that the landing page would need to be in different languages, right? Because people have different problems in different countries and such, or they have different languages in different countries. But we evolved to this idea that if you target a particular problem, then that problem is universal, and because the problem is universal, then you can expect to actually get a component right. All right. Part of this, I think, has been in building the correct tools and building the correct, let's say, infrastructure to have the marketing actually work. So landing page, learning how to use all the ad tools and such. But I think the next phase is how do you combine this strategy to get the effective results. But given your understanding of what we have right now in the marketing team, do you think anybody's up for the task of leading strategy for marketing?
Um, I don't know. I don't really follow the activities on marketing, so I have no idea actually.
Okay, let's go over to Wayana. Oh, okay. Well, let's go to Ara first then.
No, actually, I would ask her about the landing page, as you stated previously about landing page. How effective do you think our landing page right now, and how are we still that?
Okay, so what Viva has done is that she's created a new landing page that is more on brand and a bit more attractive to convert. A landing page is an ongoing project, right? So landing page is never done. Just like our landing page for the internships is not really done. It's just you start somewhere and you keep building from it. As a starting point, I believe that the new landing page is significantly better. It's significantly clearer. It's far more visual, and it really understands the problem that we're trying to solve, and it presents the solutions in a clearer way. The old landing page was dark. It wasn't bright. It sort of wallowed around the problem without really focusing on what the clear problem is. The new landing page is stronger narrative, and as you read through it, you can really understand what the value points are. So I think it's a much better start, and it's where we're going to begin the process now. So the whole entire stack of marketing, going back to value, is actually quite deep, right? So part of it is advertising correctly, and within advertising, you have to get the audience, the messaging, the timing, all the components right. But even after you bring in the audience, they have to be able to convert well on the landing page, and that involves the whole second funnel as well. So I think the parts are now, I would say, done, but they've never, like, once again, I think we have the components of the race car, but we've never raced it before, so we don't know essentially what will it produce. Let's go over to Guyana. Back to the question of who's up for leading the strategy. do you think the team is ready to lead the strategy on how to do marketing? Mute, babe.
What will you said? This one is
based on the activity, I see it's getting better. Like, but I mean, they are learning from the beginning, right? And then also as also we have a couple mentor like Borchu that was help them as well. But I think to I think make it more simple. Like, how can we get like one just give a goal. Like, how can we get one converted um property, for example? It doesn't matter. Like, have to be a hotel, but just to start.
Okay, got it.
My what do you call like? Yeah, it's work. Like to make it like can be get bigger from the small. But at the moment, like I get the people actually sign up from website. I see, but I follow up like sometimes I don't even available to call the number that they submit. It's just bit weird. That's why
Fake numbers.
I'm not sure it's not available to call. Like there's like three of them,
Okay.
and then this week so for this people that submit that cannot reachable on the call. So that's why Rizal just finished with the proposal. I'm gonna email them. I'm hoping from the email that I'm gonna with the pitch invitation
Okay.
that will be back to me.
Okay.
So
Got it.
yeah.
All right. So I think that's actually pretty key. Let's keep it simple. When we bring Gunny in for his first rotation, let's keep him accountable for that KPI. How many new partnerships are we bringing in every week, right? And that I think can be broken down into different layers, like how many new leads, how many new impressions, and then we get essentially a idea of how much activity needs to be generated at each stage to get partnerships, right? Over to Wayana. If we do get partnerships at this moment, do we actually get any revenue from them?
I got the one, but actually not. It's not from lead that from the Facebook actually, but there is one just onboard photos by Aldo. Yeah, there is. I made like a post in the Bukit and the Canggu community, and I got 3 guests already staying there.
Okay, good. So that's
So
what we should be doing for marketing, right? Whatever is working,
yeah,
not whatever is theoretical.
so that's what I just make a post and then I follow up with my post. Some people like, oh, I forget, and it's a matter of follow up actually, like what you done, and people text you, hey, I want to see it. Just make sure they want to see it, or they want to they change their mind. So make sure that oh, this guy not interested anymore, and then yeah, just keep track on that. So yeah, I think I will make a chart based on this one so that I can share like what from how many people they asking want to see and how many people see it and how many people actually stay so that we know the percentage and like
Okay, got
set
it.
expectation. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the next topic then. This is about management, and this is getting into prioritization and problem solving for what's going on. So let's go over to R real quick. Do you see any management issues across the company at the moment?
yeah, I heard that some people are still not following the existed workflow right now.
Mhm.
So that's regarding to leaderships itself. Like for example, in HR, I've yesterday talked to Sandy. Like you have rights to actually talk to people that is interrupting the workflow. So because yeah, please do that actually if somebody is not following. So like in that sense, I think leadership needs to be raised so that you like step on toes.
Okay, got it. What type of workflows are we talking about here, Ara?
Now it's very simple, sir, like meeting structure, things like that.
Basics, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's take a look at that then. Over to Bayu. Bayu, on management, do you see any management issues at the moment in the company?
Mm, yeah, I think coordination mostly, uh, like alignment. Like what should we actually do now? Like what should we actually achieve? Uh, what by doing projects or by doing uh, whatever activity? But what is the big goal? Like we kind of confused because usually we use revenue as target. Everything must come to ending revenue, but now I think it's different. So and mostly also like took a long time, like research and then building something, building system. It took longer time, and yeah, I think it's not everyone in a same page, or at least having clear goals that we should achieve together as different division or different chapter.
Okay, let's go over to Ara. Ara, do you agree with that, or do you have any other thoughts on that one?
Mm, it actually depends on the context. Like, I'm sorry, Mas, maybe I like to clarify better. When you said that on the same page itu, like in chapter wide, or how exactly, or satu chapter, or like company wide?
Like probably in chapter level. I see that. Like I think as a company, what we understand is that we are uh, I don't know, doing research or learning or improving anything. But what the focus? What is the focus, and what is the small achievement that we have to achieve, like every month or every week? Uh, Probably that. And uh, yeah, I especially in my case, like there's no excitement of improving, like what we currently do. Like yeah, because mostly improvements are boring and repetitive, and we already know that. We just know that it's not, we we know that it's not optimized. But if we want to optimize, we sometimes we need to tear it down and then rebuild it again. And then I think that's scare people of doing that thing, doing something the same, but in using different approach.
Hmm.
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 Okay.
Yeah, we talk about that over like hospitality, for example. We always do hospitality since beginning, but uh, maybe we achieve something good. Maybe sometimes it's not, but we we never experience on that. Like what if we tear everything that we usually do, and then do something differently? Just maybe focus with one guest per day, and we do something perfect for that guest, and then see if that change actually make a difference. So I don't see any research on doing that. We can say it's in our backyard, but what's more interesting is we always do some research outside of our on scope right now.
Hmm. Okay. All right. Interesting. Okay. Back to Wyana. Any thoughts on that?
Based on Bayu's comment,
Hmm.
I think uh, for the last that word. but you said it's kind of true because I see also like very simple thing like guest check-in, like it's not completed like until checkout and then the review that it's some problem but it's no response. Basically like the old thing that we use like a KPI that but I don't see like it's 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 done like supposed to be even though it's already old practice.
Hmm.
And I'm not sure how people feel like maybe just lack of energy being together or like inspiration. I think it's just because we always find something new to do, but actually sometimes people not might be like they're doing like something because they want to like I have something new to do, but they forget that they have actually already
Mm. Okay.
solid foundation that we have. Forget they follow that what we have actually already been great, and also we have KPI to monitor it. Like instead of like we make the foundation that we have stronger, and people busy finding what need to do. Like I know like people but what we have is, oh, everyone know, but the one that actually we know, that's what we get until here. Like it's So yeah, don't forget like our old code, and then
Got it.
always when I yeah.
Okay. Over to Bayu. Does that sound similar to what you're saying?
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is probably why we need some managers, right, to sort of guide the teams along the Bukit Vista 3 pathway along. Okay. All right. Interesting. Interesting. Let's see. Okay. So part of, I think, what we've been looking at is this focus on research. So in the focus on research, have we forgotten about the focus on operations? Is this what I'm hearing?
Maybe, yeah, maybe the words arrive to people that way,
Mhm.
and maybe people are forgetting that the the result of the research should be improving the operation, right?
Got it.
Not research just for the sake of research itself, but to do something about it.
Got it. This is actually kind of a tough thing that I've been facing for a while, which is it takes, I don't know why it takes so long to actually get people to zoom out and figure out like what is the end purpose of what they are actually doing. So I've noticed that people can get into these, or maybe some people naturally try to get into a routine, right? And I feel like without a manager, the routine sometimes starts. It's like they're drilling a hole, but it's in the wrong place, right? And you need the manager to say, "No, drill here instead." But this idea of being able to figure out where to drill yourself is just absent a lot of times in the company. Do you think that's because people just don't get it, or they haven't been educated, or they just simply they just need managers, otherwise they can't figure it out for themselves? Over to Ara.
People are confused, I would say. Why? Because the figure of leadership itself is very overlapping to one people and another. So in that sense, one person said we need to maintain existing things. Another person said no, we have to keep on innovating. So in that sense, that's what I read and heard from people.
Ah, got it. Okay, so there's a split now. There's people who say like operations is important. There's people who say innovation is important. And are we okay? Let's zoom out for a bit. Yeah, this is actually related to culture, and it's related to incentives. Are we incentivizing people in a way that creates confusion? Are we incentivizing people that creates alignment? Over to Bayou.
Intensive to create confusion.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's talk about like how we're structuring the culture, right? So this is like kind of like the overall message that everyone's swimming through. Are we sending out a message that is creating this confusion? Are we sending out a message that simulates understanding and alignment?
Mm, probably at this point more into confusion because yeah, if we receive it half, then probably it's more, yeah, people get confused rather than being more clear, right? It's if in the beginning we just start with one thing, then it's easy to understand, right? But if we like you tell one person to do something with one way, there's only one way to do that, then it's easy to understand. But if you tell him, yes, you can do that, you can do this with this way, with this way, with this way, with this way, that's 10 options, then that person would probably spending more time choosing which way is correct rather than doing
Okay,
that.
interesting. Interesting. All right, very good. Let's go over to Ara. Ara, what are your thoughts?
Yes, I would agree with Bayu that we're creating confusion at the moment.
Okay, too many choices create confusion. Okay, let's go and figure out a way to solve this. Over to Bayu. What's the best way to solve this?
I don't know. I kind of don't like it, but I think we should start it like we should use a hierarchy like for goals. So what is the company this main goal, one goal, and then you split that how to achieve that goal. Then each chapter will have their own goal, and then we will split the chapter into probably two kind of activities. Then yeah, then at least it's limiting, but at least everyone is will be converging into one.
Interesting. Okay, all right. All right, do we have that already?
What, sorry,
Do
what?
we have a hierarchy of goals?
We actually do, but that's the problem right now. That the figure of which one should say things, which one should lead, which one should decide is not what is it? Not fixed yet. People are still confused on who to follow. So we actually do have, I believe, like we used to have chapter lead and everything. That's a little bit hierarchy, I would say. Even though the way that we treat people is not hierarchical, like we're open to ideas and everything, but that's actually a hierarchy. And the missing part in the problem that we're facing right now is the hierarchy itself is not blurry. So I would also agree with Bayu that I think we need that, like to make fixed choice on who to follow.
Okay, all right. This is my next question. Over to Bayu. Should people follow their chapter leads, or should they follow a pivot lead?
That's yeah, that's the problem. There's no one to follow basically.
Hmm.
Yeah, like mm, yeah, I think we need a project manager so we know when when something needs to be there's a new pivot. At least it will be in the same direction. It's still coordinated rather than like I don't like to do this anymore because I don't think it's getting a result, and I will change to another thing without the others are noticing, and then at the end, yeah, at the end, no one is really uh, oh yeah, not in harmony, like yeah, like everyone want to be a solo player, but it's an orchestra. You cannot be a solo player.
Okay, all right, interesting. Let's go over to real quick to Joanna. Babe, what do you think about this? Is this the case? And how do we fix it? Babe, you're muted.
For the incentive, like I don't know, like it's people for incentive. I think it. I mean, if people, it's very easy, you know. Like everyone want to earn money and everyone want to be doing good, right? So it's if like if whatever they do to make like even a group achievement or self achievement, as long it's clear, I think people will happy to, to go to the direction that they want to go. But as long it's from the beginning, it's clear the goal and what is the goal, who to follow, like like how long. It's very simple. But I don't go to most chapter. I just go to DM and RM actually. And for the incentive, let's say, like, I mean, what I see is that, like, for the last, I know that you did some pivot for incentive as well last time. It's different than this time. I don't know. Maybe you can ask people like from the pivot that you done, like how they feel, like it,
Okay, so what I'm taking out of this is we need leaders, but we don't really know what kind of leaders we need. We need structure, but we don't really know what kind of structure we need. Over to Ara.
Oh, wait, sir. Sorry, I would like to make a correction on the things that you type under my name. It's
Mhm.
actually not too many choice, but the leader that I meant. So, to a different direction of the leader, or like the blurry figure of the leader itself that creates confusion.
Okay, interesting. Okay, let's analyze that right now. Um, so there is a stack, I think, on the mission of leadership, right? So this is something that we didn't consider before, but I've considered it much more carefully now. There's discovery, right? Prioritization, problem solving, and execution. Okay, I think at this point, what we've grown is I think everyone in the company can sort of handle this, right? I believe that everyone in the company is capable of solving problems and they're capable of execution. So that's good. That is already better than where we were before. What I don't think that everyone's capable of currently is discovery and prioritization. And this is why I kind of hang out at the chapter meetings. But what I'm trying to actually see is can I delegate these to somebody else? Let's go over to Bayou. Bayou, is it this simple or is there something I'm missing?
What do you mean? Sim, what do you mean by simple fix? You mean?
Well, what I mean is this, right? So I believe that a chapter, or let's say a leader here, is ready to lead when they can do all four parts really well. They can discover, meaning that they'll never have really a shortage of ideas or inspiration, right? They'll always be looking, okay, I found a new problem, okay, I found a new opportunity, found a new problem, found a new opportunity. So they have plenty of, let's say, discovery potential, right? Internally or externally. Prioritization. Once they've discovered these things, they can sequence it in a way such that they're working on the most important piece first and apply the correct use of resources to prioritize. Um, these two parts, I don't see necessarily being entirely fluent in the entire company. But my hypothesis is if these are fluent, then we have a leader, don't we?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so we do have competency now, thank God, in the first two levels, right? In problem solving and execution, because I think we create a culture where we can share feedback, we can think about things, and we can get them fixed. Now, so here's my challenge then. I want to bridge to where we have more leaders in each particular chapter. But do we have people who are good at prioritizing right now in each particular chapter? Over to Bayou.
Mm, uh, I I cannot see that.
Right. Okay. Let's go over to Ara. Ara, actually, on HR, I think you guys are pretty much ready to rock on your own. There's not too much I need
Yes.
to do. So I think you're de facto leader anyway. Nobody nobody questions that. But what do you think about this? This is my essential pathway to determining if a chapter can self lead.
I agree with the principles that you're saying that a leader needs to know, understand the prioritization and discovery and everything. But if you ask me on who to be monetized, I don't think. I'm sorry, but I don't think Bayu and even Wayana have visibility on that. So they can. It's not their capacity in the sense that they don't know because they never joined HR, for example, right?
Mm,
Even for me as an HR, I can answer that if I like having some certain times to observe. Like I go to meetings and see how people actually um, act or
sure.
prefer and everything, right? So I think the best capacity person that can answer that is user because you're joining every meetings, right?
Sure. Okay.
So
I'll speak frankly then. I think actually two things. One, you can actually observe how people are doing just from their Trello cards, right? You can kind of look at like what is the chapter actually working on and see, oh, are they prioritizing things correctly? And I think I brought in Bayu to take a look at what was happening in community HAR, and you could see, this is funny. When you're in there every day, you don't actually zoom out and see what it is that is making progress. So, in let's say the capacity of community, the community's project should be actually training the community to become more agile, right? So they're going out, they're getting this culture started with the community so that we can use video conferencing. They're essentially doing what the work we did in HR was for the company, but projected out to the wider community, right? And they're doing some work. There's some progress there, but I can I can see that there's a hard time pivoting. In fact, there's no even consciousness of how to pivot. So there's no discovery, right? There's no, oh, I've discovered something. I need to create a new idea and integrate it in. Or there's discovery, but not clear communication. So there's a problem solving and maybe an execution flaw. HAR is the most blurry of all the places because yes, is essentially a little bit leaderless, right? Um, yeah, it's like where are we gonna go? Where are we gonna go? Um, and I think that adds to what Bayu's feeling is frustration too as well, and it's adding to my frustration and everybody's frustration. I think so. That particular chapter is the most. Um, I don't know. Maybe we don't have the right expectation for it. Bayu and I had a talk, and we realized maybe HR shouldn't have projects. Maybe they should just be given processes to execute, and that's pretty much the extent of it. Let's go over to Wayana. Do you believe that that would be a better way of managing HAR? Oh, okay, okay, you're muted again. Babe, you're muted again.
For HR, I think the goal should be like have to be like each month have to be this much amount of money have to come in or like booking like percentage that we expect, like the from the input to what like like the with KPI that normally we have. So and then everyone like work focus on that. Either they using their Facebook. We don't care how they will do it, but as long this is the result that we want. So maybe like a collaboration between like marketing and this, but everyone should be doing that. So because it's possible to earn because I posted on Facebook. It just take a lot of time, but I think since they have the time to do that, I
Mm-hmm.
think it can be done. But as long it's just set the KPI, so their focus is to be earn money for the company because
All right. Yes, there
it's
are.
very clear.
okay, thank you. So yesterday, Tandy actually gave me updates that it's already been applied. So even Tandy gives details and break it down to each individual's goal. So the KPI is set based on each individual's person. So let's say like Ara have to bring like few book this 10 bookings in a day, in a month, and then like this revenue in a month. I think that's already been set just recently, see, like 2 days ago, I think.
I saw that happen too, actually. And a little bit concerned, which was this: I noticed that there was a few people who didn't want to have goals at all, and I was like, "What?" You know,
Oh, you were there yesterday.
I was, yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
"Yeah, I
I
don't
heard.
like having goals. Goals make me intimidated." You know,
And exactly that's what makes HAR becomes fake and blurry, right? Because like even in the same team, like they're not. That's very basic, right? Whether to have goals and not to have goals. I think everyone have to be agree. Like me, even like not in HR, I would agree that if I'm HR, then make a goals. But some people are objecting that, like then I would not. what I heard is that there's one person said that I wouldn't if it's set in per individual, then I would afraid that I will feel not contributing. Then that's like lack of confidence, right? Like why exactly a person in the team can feel that way, that it shouldn't be. Everybody have to be positive and like be confident about their progress and about their contribution to the company.
So a leader for HR should be one that inspires confidence.
Yeah.
Yes, I would say.
Leader needs to inspire confidence. Okay, all right, that's a little bit clearer. In HR, inspires confidence. Okay, let's actually drill down a little bit more. Are we all just talking about HAR? Or are we talking about everywhere in the company? Let's go over to Bayou. Okay, I'll get Ara first then.
Okay, so that's why when in the very beginning when you asked how is the company going, and I said in general it is good.
Mhm.
But if you're asking me in chapter, yes, I think HR have specific trouble right now.
Got it. Okay. All right. We've run out of time, but thank you very much for going through this. And quick question to everyone: is this a better format than the previous format? Over to Bayou.
I think so. Yeah, we can track later.
Okay, got it. All right, cool. Bayou, I couldn't, I wasn't able to bring this in to the Bukit Vista team for some reason. So yeah, I've had to put
Udah
it in
penuh.
our team. So yeah. Anyway, that's okay. I invited you guys in. All right. Thank you for that. I think HR does need to reinvent itself, and I think we should have less project expectations from HAR, but more execution expectations from HAR.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
noticed that that's actually pretty normal in every company that has customer support teams. Customer support just does customer support. They don't get projects. They are execution type people. And I think that will be a better alignment to where they need to be anyway. Okay, so thank you for that discussion. Meeting adjourned. Have a great. See you guys at happy hour.
Yeah. See
See you.
you.
Yes. All right. Peace.
Hi, Lee.